Hey, it's me again. Do you know what month it is? That's right, it's National Women's History Month. The month we celebrate our founding mothers of all shades, ages, and backgrounds. Like Elizabeth Blackwell, who was the first accredited doctor. Susan B. Anthony, who played a major role in the women's suffrage movement. Sojourner Truth, a women's rights activist with her amazing speech called Ain't I a Woman? Rosa Parks, Jane Addams, Rosalind Franklin, who discovered the structure of DNA, Dolores Herder, who worked to ensure farm workers receive U.S. labor rights, and the list just goes on, and women are still making history. I could spend the next decade or longer naming all the great women of this planet, from Princess Diana to my great-grandmother who made me biscuits from scratch. But no time for that. How did this great month come to pass is the question. Well, let's take a ride down memory lane. Did you know at one point of time, women couldn't even own property or vote? I know, sounds weird, right? You guys may be too young for the Twilight Zone. Susan B. Anthony was at the forefront of the women's rights movement in the late 1800s. She even was arrested for casting her vote. Well, because it was illegal at the time. She went to trial, lost the case, and was ordered to pay a fine of $100, in which she didn't pay. On May 15, 1869, Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton formed the National Women's Suffrage Association. The same year in Boston, the American Women's Suffrage Association was formed. Well, in 1890, the two groups joined and voted Miss Stanton their president. In 1908, the group held their first march in Oakland, California, and across the country with many as 15,000 women at some of the protests. Women's rights were being sought after across the globe, from South Africa to Soviet Russia, who would later name March 8 an international women's holiday. In February of 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued the first presidential proclamation declaring the week of March 8 as National Women's History Week. And in 1987, the House and Senate came to a joint resolution that March be observed as Women's History Month. The joint resolution reads as follows. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historical contributions to the growth and strength of the nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. Whereas American women have played and continue to play a critical economic, cultural, and social role in every sphere of our nation's life by constituting a significant portion of their labor force working in and outside of the home. Whereas American women have played a unique role throughout our history by providing the majority of the nation's volunteer labor force and have been particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in this country. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement, not only to secure their own right of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements to create a more fair and just society for all. And whereas despite these contributions, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the body of American history. Now, therefore be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled that the month of March 1987 is designated as Women's History Month.